Hello there folks, I'm Dan Brown from a sortofinterestinglife.com. You're joining me on board good old Narrowboat Tilly, and my goodness me, what a time it has been recently, both on the canal and off the canal. Even right up to this morning, where I've just done a very short stretch of canal, but gone up through the two locks at Newmarton by St Martin's. And once I got to the top side of them, I've discovered the windiest canal that I have ever boated on. And my goodness me, I instantly have had to pull over to the side because it's just battering weather out there. The only way I can try and demonstrate that is through the incredible wind through the trees, but unfortunately there aren't any real good trees to show that on this side. If you're familiar with the canal, you'll know that sometimes when I post pictures and videos, the canal is flat and like a mirror. Well, this is the sort of wind that we've got. If there's ever waves on the canal, you know that it's not a good day for travelling. Anyway, life on the canal in general has been fantastic, as you can see, and as you'll see from some of these clips and pictures. We've had some brilliant weather. This is October now, so it's the last few weeks before winter mooring, and the general theme has been taking it nice and easy and having a very slow trip up back to around the sort of Chirk area where I tend to spend my winters. And as you can see, there's been some beautiful weather, but it's also been great because as the canal's emptying of boats, I've been able to moor up in some absolutely beautiful spots, and also know that when you do have these amazing bits of weather and go travelling, that you're unlikely to meet much traffic when you're out on your travels. Going through the locks today was certainly an interesting experience. As I say, it was a windy morning to begin with and a pretty windy night. But on the bottom side of the locks, where I started off, it wasn't too bad. If it had been as windy as it was on the top side of the locks, there's no way I would have ever travelled. But I'm certainly glad that I did, just because it was another great morning, and as you can see, when you're in the shelter and sort of dropped just behind little sort of hills and contours away from the terrible wind, so we're about to see an extremely leaky lock, as you can see. And once you were out of the main sort of danger zone, it was all lovely and beautiful sunny morning and all the rest of it. There's been a little bit of drizzle, which the wind has made into absolute driving rain just through the sheer force of the gusts and gales. But once I got up to the top side of the locks, I passed one boat and the wind was determined to blow me into it, but managed to escape that as we just have a little bit of POV footage for a change here. And there were three more boats all moored up ahead. I thought, you know what, I'm on the other side of the locks. The only travelling I'm going to be doing now is just nice short trips. There's a little place I want to spend a couple of nights where there's unlikely to be another person in sight. But ultimately, I'm more than happy to have got up through the locks, still be relatively dry, and not have hit any other boats. So that's canal life in general. Good times out on the canal as always. In wider life, as some of you may have seen, amazingly, Mango Bikes sent me 2 new bikes. So I was very happy with that because I've been looking at getting a new bike for the winter. And, well, who would have ever imagined that sort of generosity? Equally, I recently released my little poetry anthology, The Joy of Nowhere, and thank you very much for the support that's had and the feedback I've had. Also, this is something that some people might find interesting or not, but I've got about 700 of these business cards advertising the books and the YouTube channel, which I do try and get out there and push through letterboxes all around Oswestry and the area. So if you are from Oswestry and have found this YouTube channel via those cards, then thank you very much for checking it out. Hope you'll enjoy what you find here. But really, those are the very few ways that I really do try and promote this sort of thing. I try not to be too sort of in your face and obnoxious and post on Facebook all the time about, oh yeah, buy these books and what have you. That's what Twitter's for a start. But as some of you may know, I do mention it an awful lot on Twitter. Yeah, really, in wider life, it's been interesting because it's sort of spilled over into canal life, where some of you may know my good friend Helena, who's been so instrumental in fetching the boat back 2 years ago to this sort of area, has recently had her baby, so that was all lovely. But in the run up to that, I was sort of going up to her house, and when she was there on her own, because she was scared at any moment that obviously something rather dramatic might happen, I was on a baby watch. So I would go up there and spend the odd night up there and then bike back down to the canal, or bike up there first thing in the morning if she was on her own in the day. So that was quite interesting because we've had the good weather to do a lot of biking. It was another genuine reason and a genuinely good excuse to be able to get on the bike, put a good few country lanes and beautiful countryside scenery below me belt, and also, as I say, have an actual purpose and use to the trip rather than it just being riding for riding's sake. As you can imagine though, now that I've got these bikes, there's going to be a lot more biking on the channel. So, as we pass another narrowboat called Tilly, I'm going to wrap things up and say thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to subscribe if you haven't already and check out all my other videos. There's almost 200 narrowboat videos online now, along with plenty of other outdoorsy stuff, walking up mountains, kayaking, biking and goodness knows what else. Feel free to like the Facebook page and even add me personally on Facebook and Twitter for loads of photos and general updates from life on the canal. And please check out my books for the Kindle. The Narrowboat Lad was the first one I wrote about my first year on board. It's only £1.53, a nice quick read, and I hope that you'll enjoy that. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and until the next time, keep it boat worthy, keep it canal side, and farewell.